G'day and welcome to Any Auto TV on this beautiful sunny day. As you can see, we've got the BMW 650i Coupé. This is the upgraded version recently and it is a gem of a vehicle. Occasionally in this job you really have to pinch yourself and say, am I really doing this? And this is one of those sort of times. Love the car, love driving, it's a lot of fun. Let's have a look around it and see what the improvements have been that have just been upgraded, and then we'll take it for a drive and see what it's like. The first thing you notice is the obvious BMW kidney grille with the upgraded bonnet bulges. It's a very muscular looking car. It's quite long and sleek and low and quite frankly it looks beautiful. The upgraded version also has 19-inch alloy wheels with 40 series profile tyres, and as you can see from the side profile, again, beautiful looking car. To be honest, not too fussed on the boot lid. It does carry the lines through, but from the rear it does look ugly. As we said, the boot itself is quite unattractive in my view. I was told that ugly was probably too strong a word, so it's quite unattractive in my view. One thing you will notice though is that it's got a really large boot, and for a coupe for two people you can fit all of your luggage in there. It's a great design. It doesn't have flow through, which is probably a good thing, but plenty of space in the boot. Run flat tyres, so no spare. Here we are inside the 650i Coupe, and it is an exceptionally comfortable place to be. You can find yourself the perfect driving position and you are cocooned inside this driver's paradise almost. The steering wheel's thick rimmed, everything you could possibly want on there. Paddle shift gear changes, which as a rarity for me I actually have used, and they're quite good. One thing that you do notice is that there is an absolute lack of somewhere to put something. Apart from a couple of very poorly designed water bottle holders, there's really nowhere else to put all the little knickknacks that people seem to carry with them in cars. But other than that, the driver's cockpit is a delight to use. Inside you can just hear that V8 burbling away in the background. You can feel the power take off. It's just a wonderful piece of engineering. I think one of the things that I'm coming to grips with is who would actually buy this car, because there are other cars that are faster than this and cheaper, that handle better. Not to say that this isn't a powerful or a fast car, and it handles immaculately. But I think the type of person that buys this car is somebody who quite simply buy it because they can. It just oozes class and sophistication, and you don't buy it because you want to show off, you don't buy it because you want to be the fastest on the road, you just buy it simply because you can. Just listen to the sound of that motor. What the upgrade version of the 6 Series has not only is BMW's brake regeneration system, but also it has an upgrade version of the iDrive with an 8.8-inch screen, an 80GB hard disk with about 12GB for music. And look, a lot of people aren't all that fussed on the iDrive system. Personally, I quite like it. I think it's quite intuitive, it's easy to use. The Bluetooth connection is fantastic, unlike a lot of vehicles that we drive, and it all works well. It's like a lot of things on the BMW, the technology is there and it seamlessly blends into the background to make the driving experience a lot richer. We're just heading through some corners here, and look, the handling is superb as you would expect. Power delivery beautiful. There is a little bit of wind noise at speed around the rear view mirrors, but other than that it's a whisper quiet ride. The only sound you really get is the sound of that beautiful V8 growling out the back behind you. The motor itself is typical of BMW, 270 kilowatts, 490 newton meters of torque. It's an absolute powerhouse, very smooth delivery of power, and around town uses about 14 or 15 litres per 100 k's, but we just took it on a trip last night up through the freeway, and cruising along at 110, 115 it sat on about 9.5 litres per 100 k's without a worry at all. For two people, this is a very comfortable car. and both the driver and the passenger really have a lot of room for themselves. Seats very comfortable, electrically adjusted, so you can get your perfect driving position, as we mentioned earlier. Rear seat passengers, forget it, especially behind me, almost impossible. Behind the passenger with the front seat forward, you can fit a reasonable sized teenager in there, but other than that, this is a two-seater car. But given that, plenty of room, plenty of headroom, plenty of shoulder room, with the sunroof as well, it gives it a lot of light on a sunny day, not like today, which is really crappy. But apart from that, yeah, very comfortable place for two people. It's incredibly stylish and a bit of fun to boot, and that is spot on. That describes the 650 Coupé to a T. Well, there we have BMW 650i Coupé at around $227,000 at a manufacturer's list price. It is a very expensive vehicle. For that, you get a very stylish coupe, fantastic for two people. A beautiful big loud V8 motor that gives off 270 kilowatts of power, take you from 0 to 100 in about 5.2 seconds. It handles like a go-kart. It's a dream to drive, but all of those things aren't the thing that make it up into what it is. What it is a car that somebody will buy because they can, as we said earlier. It looks good, it's stylish, it's a dream to drive, it's subtle enough to be able to not scream, look at me, but it has all of the features that you'd expect in a $227,000 car. Do we enjoy it? Absolutely. Would we buy it? Other than the fact we can't afford it, I don't know. It's a great car, love it, but probably not what I'm looking for. But certainly well worth looking at if you're looking at that type of vehicle. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.